All right. Well, hello and welcome, everyone. I'm here today with Manuel Ninapaitan. Hi, Manuel. How are you?
How you doing? Pretty good. Thank you.
Good. Thank you so much for joining me today and being willing to share a bit about your story. We were just recalling you were a Blueprint participant back in 2018 in the spring session. When we're interviewing this, it's 2020, the beginning of the year, so about 2 years later. But can you kind of take us back to, and you've accomplished quite a few things since that time, and I'm really excited to share your story with our community. Can you just take us back to where you were maybe, in 2018 or late 2017, kind of where you were at in your career and what you were looking for?
Well, prior to 2018, I was pretty much working as a QA analyst / tier 3 tech support technician, and my intention was to eventually progress to a more BA minded position. So this is the reason why I took these two courses, the Blueprint and the Business Process Analysis. Business Process Analysis was the first one I remember, and the Blueprint came second.
Gotcha.
So as I progressed in these two courses, eventually I got a chance to transition to a different project with my old manager. That was, I would say, February 2018. I had to replace somebody who was leaving the organization. So around at that time is when I was done with the two courses. And as I mentioned to you before, I decided to embrace, that's a term that I like to use, I decided to embrace the role as a BA. Because before it was a little reluctant, okay, should I do this? Should I present myself as a BA or not? But at that point in my life, I said, you know what? This is what I'm going to do. And believe it or not, it changed a lot of things in the way I started looking at my job and my day-to-day duties.
Yeah.
And, believe it or not, if you believe this is what you are, this is what you're a new BA, people will start looking at you different too. And people will start working with a different way. So it was very, very interesting for me to have that before and after.
Yeah, that's amazing. So it was like you deciding this is who I am.
Exactly.
Did your title change, or did anything change externally like that related to this, or was it really just that you were approaching your work from a BA mindset?
Not only I started approaching my work from a BA's mindset, but again, I decided to change my email signature. So I removed my part of my own signature, my own position before. So it was for me was a business analyst / QA, and I kept it like that, and I just carried on through the entire project, and it felt different.
Yeah. So your job title didn't change, but you changed your signature.
Somehow my job title didn't change per se.
Yeah.
My signature changed, but also the way I approached my task, my everyday task for the project, it changed completely.
Yeah. Do you have an example of that? Like where you were doing QA, but you started to approach it as a business analyst?
Sure, certainly. Yeah. We used to have regular meetings with our stakeholders for this particular project. So I was just asking a question, okay, what is it that you need? Not just what is it that you need, but at least, okay, what is it that we can do to make this job more efficient? Because we were going from one particular version of a software to the new one. So in that sense, I wanted to know, okay, how we can do this better for next time. How we can select the applications you need, because these guys were for the multimedia section, which are actually in charge of publishing official, documentation for this organization to send it outside. So this is how it started, and somehow we clicked. They were able to tell me exactly what they wanted, what is it that we don't need. So just long story short, not only we were able to save some money, but just produce the products they wanted. And after that, it's just a progression towards the completion of the project. So everybody was, I would say they were satisfied with what we delivered. And almost at the end, before I left, I had a conversation with my manager and said, you know what? I can see you have what it takes to be a BA. And it's something he never mentioned before. So all of that contributed to what I am right now.
Yeah. And now, did that open up an actual opportunity in that job, or was it the next job where you were kind of more in that doing officially doing business analysis?
Well, I made some changes to my LinkedIn profile. That was another one. So I put my title as a BA. I updated my latest job description, what I was doing. And out of the many offers I had, this one came, from a recruiter from this company. And said, we've seen your profile. We had this particular project going on. We'd be interested. And that's how it started. We had the 3 interviews. So I landed a job that I'm right now.
Awesome. And official, what's your title?
My title is ServiceNow Business Analyst.
Okay, great. And did you have experience in ServiceNow before that?
Yes, I used ServiceNow very heavily before, a sort of a fulfiller role power user. So I knew somehow the in and outs of these platforms, so that helped me a lot too.
Yeah, and that's where we see a lot of times, especially when people are moving into their first role, right? Leveraging an expertise like that, a tool you're a power user in, or an industry, whatever that is, can help you kind of get that first official role, so to speak. That's awesome.
Exactly.
So tell us a little bit about your role.
So right now, what I'm working in is for a big implementation for ServiceNow for this federal agency. So, I mean, overall, the federal government is grabbing ServiceNow as a platform where they can actually have a lot of components that are rolling. So we are in the process right now of implementing pieces by pieces. We just finished one a sprint a couple of weeks ago. So we're getting the new one now, and we're just going through user stories, finishing epics and all that. And it's very interesting. It's just every day something new. It's just amazing, and the opportunities to learn is just one after another. So right now, I'm working towards a ServiceNow certification. So hopefully it'll happen the next week or so. So yeah, we'll see. It's just amazing because, and on top of that is this team was looking for 3 BAs. They already had 2. They didn't want more because before, all interactions between with the stakeholders was primarily done with the developers. And again, we're bridging the gap right there, and this is what we're doing.
So how has your Blueprint coursework played into all of this?
Well, it kind of refined my attention to detail, the ability to ask the right questions to get information we need, and to guide the stakeholders in a certain direction, because they can suggest or request something, but we tell them, well, how about if we approach it this way instead? You still get the same results, but we're going to save you some time, some extra clicks, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So you have to have the ability to convince the stakeholder, okay, yeah, this is what we can do instead. And they can say, yeah, sure, let's work it out.
So you're really understanding not just what they want, but their business process and their business needs. And
exactly.
Yeah.
It's not only the business process, but the language they speak. So they have their own, every organization has its own language. And you get to learn what terms are this, what is it that they do, what is the acronyms and stuff like that. So you understand where you want to go with them.
Yeah, and then I'm assuming you mentioned doing user stories, right? So functional requirements still a big piece of how are we going to actually configure ServiceNow, or do you do also customizations of ServiceNow as part of the implementation?
The customization is done by the development team based on the stories we provide. So in that sense, I'm getting better on writing a very concise stories. What is the short description, the description, the acceptance criteria, and all that. So when they look there, they say, "Oh, I see what they want to do." It's a very tight collaboration. So with the other BAs working with me, they tell me, "Okay, we need to refine this part. This is fine." And so once this story is good, we upload it to ServiceNow. There's a section there for for source as well, and that goes to developers, and then the developers that just work on that to have the first prototype and sandbox, then UAT, and if UAT passes, then it goes to production.
Gotcha. Yep. So you're helping define what that customization
Pretty
looks like.
much the whole cycle.
And I would imagine the data modeling piece too, right? Do you have data migrations as part of these?
Yeah, they had data migrations, which is done on the developer side, and then we have a UX person too, with the mockups, with the wireframes. So when we meet with somebody, we can tell them, okay, this is how pretty much looks like, or this is what you want, et cetera, et cetera. So it's a very important piece as well. So a lot of people are visual. So they like to see how it looks like, or what is it potential look and feel. So that also helps.
Yeah, not every BA team has a UX designer, right? Sometimes you're doing that, sometimes you're collaborating with them. So it's always interesting to hear how those roles shape up in different organizations.
Exactly. So we have a very good UX person right there.
Yeah. So what do you like most about being a business analyst?
I think I don't get bored. That's the first thing I can tell you. There's something going on. There are some days like you're just running. Oh my gosh, how can I do this? There are some challenging days. Yes, I mean we have some challenging days where we have stakeholders who sometimes have to chase them until they get back to you. There are some requirements that are really tricky. But then there's some days are actually when things are rolling through, and it's all. I mean, basically, it's just I will constantly be on my toes, and as I said before, I don't get bored. I mean, there's something new going on there. Definitely.
And what has that meant to you going from QA to business analysis?
Basically to expand my horizons in the sense of I'm getting more interested in the ServiceNow platform. And so that I want to retain my BA background, but eventually progress towards a more advanced stage as a ServiceNow professional, let's say.
Like a consultant almost?
Eventually, we'll see if that works out later. But right now, my task is just absorbing as much knowledge as possible about ServiceNow from the administration side, and then later for implementation side, and perhaps the development side as well, because this program is growing. I mean, it sounds like I'm pitching this program right now, but it's not. But again, all that while keeping my BA background information, which I think is going to help a lot.
Yeah. What would you recommend to people looking to follow in your footsteps, who are kind of back where you were at in the QA role? Maybe it sounds like you're kind of ready for a change, right? Ready for something new. What would you recommend to them to do next?
If you see yourself as a person who likes to resolve problems, if you see like you are somebody who is curious about, you're always asking questions, probing questions, right? Regardless of the role you have, tech support, QA, or something similar, I would say you might be slowly inching towards the BA arena. And based on my experiences, if you're doubtful about seeing yourself as a BA, jump on it. Just go for it and see, you know what, I am a BA now. It's not, no, don't wait for an official title. Don't wait for an official role, because chances are what you do is pretty much towards the BA territory. So once, if you feel like that, just embrace it, and your mindset is going to change.
Yeah, beautiful.
Yeah.
And for you, if you hadn't chosen to invest in a program like the Business Analyst Blueprint, where do you think you would be today?
I don't know. It's probably still doing the QA, which is not bad. But I got that itching of, okay, I need something more. So yeah, that was an investment. That I decided to take for myself and just and take the risk basically and see how that works out. And this is an opportunity that was knocking at my door. Maybe I didn't realize at the beginning, but then you know what? I'll go for it.
Mm-hmm.
I did that, and I don't regret it. I mean, I'll do it again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome. Anything else you'd like to share?
No, I just want to thank you for the opportunity that you gave us
Yeah.
for taking these courses and just for really, you know, boosting our careers. Your guidance, your words, and your enthusiasm is really amazing. And believe me, you've done such an amazing work in that sense.
Thank you so much for that. And I love to be able to celebrate stories like yours because you made the investment, right? You chose to go and in that mindset shift piece that you shared, like that is just gold for anyone
Very
listening
important.
in. I'm glad you shared that like a couple separate times because it's like, it seems like it's too good to be true. Like what? I just get to change my mind. But like, it's how things happen. It's how change happens. And it's like the easiest thing to do and the hardest thing to do. And so I just
It
want to
is.
commend you for that.
Exactly. It's
Yeah.
you have to just make a jump. You have to
Yeah.
do it.
Yeah.
There's no other way.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for sharing that. And I can't wait to share this with the community. All right.
Thank you very much, Laura. Appreciate your time. Okay.
Yeah.